Welcome everybody. My name's Marilee Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for October 21st of 2024 as we wind down yet another month. So this week will be a little less emotionally intense, but it's still going to be intense and weird because we don't have the full moon, but we are still in the effects of the full moon. Keep in mind, after the full moon in Aries, which was pretty intense, the light drains from it. And as it drains from it, we see the full impact of it. So this week, we're still seeing the after effects wherever that full moon in Aries was happening for you. Of course, if you follow me, that means you've clicked on that subscribe button below, and you would have watched last week's session where I talked about all the impacts of the full moon in Aries. And if you're really good, you also watched the full moon in Aries tarot card reading where I pull a tarot card for every sign. So I do both of those things every week. So make sure, again, that you click that subscribe button down so that you are notified every Saturday morning when I deliver the content too. If you like written material, go to my website, marileeburnett.com, and there you'll see my articles for the month of October. Go look at this week that we're going to cover, see if there's any additional details I included in there that I might skim over in this session in the essence of time so that you have the full picture as well. And then, of course, I always include the link to the tarot card reading for this week. But you can view those separately and always make sure you watch for your sun, moon, and rising sign. All right, so with that, we're going to kick off Monday very intensely because we have 3 planets hitting 29 degrees and talking to each other. So we've got Pluto at 29 of Capricorn. It is moving forward officially at this time. It is spending these next 28, 29 days here until it moves into the sign of Aquarius. As it does, it's having conversations with, first off, the sun, also at 29 degrees. 29, critical, intense energy. I like to say it's a test. It can be a crisis moment. And this would be a crisis involving relationship between 2 politicians, 2 leaders. There's some kind of an ego battle going on that will be under our scope of awareness in the collective. And then in your own life, same thing. Don't get caught up in any kind of an ego war because, again, it's a test and you want to pass the test, but not getting sucked in and triggered by this person who's trying to stoke your fears. So watch for that. The other thing that Pluto is doing is with this green line, it's called an inconjunct or a quincunx to the moon, also at 29 degrees. Now, of course, I have this set up exactly by accident, but there are no accidents or coincidences. So there's a reason I'm recording in this at this time. Something on Monday afternoon when the moon in Gemini, which is information, it's our intuition, and it is our emotions and our feelings, which seem to be going back and forth, can't decide something, and it's in conjunct with Pluto while it is trine to the sun. So this is your inner self and your intuitive self, your emotional self. You're feeling good. You're on the same page, even though it's intense, whatever this is for you. Depends on the houses that this is showing up in. But there's something about this Pluto person or entity or event that is trying to destabilize your confidence. So just forearmed is forewarned, right? Don't overreact. Somebody in the collective might be overreacting, but it doesn't have to be you. But it could be a bit of a volatile day on Monday. So watch your triggers. Be prepared to pass the test, but don't get sucked in because quickly things will change and things will move forward and you don't want to still be stuck dealing with this. Okay, so that's how we're starting Monday. So let me move my Astro Gold forward and we'll look at now Tuesday. So Tuesday is the 22nd And what we have helping us, right? So it's like we passed the test. And now on Tuesday, there is this grand water trine. Now, the grand water trine also involves that moon. So it seems like the moon is a pretty big aspect this week. And as it moves into its home sign of Cancer, it's also very strong. And it's speaking in harmony with Saturn, which gives it more strength and structure as they both speak in harmony with Mercury. Information. And I always say Mercury in Scorpio is like a little detective, bringing information up to the surface, bringing up conversations that were before had behind closed doors. And now that information gets exposed. But whatever is shared with you at this time, this emotional opportunity benefits you, so you want to respond and take advantage of it. That's what a trine does. Gives you an opportunity. You can ignore it or you can take advantage of it and see the benefit of it. Okay. We still have this Pluto square, right? So it may be whatever this challenge is that causes you to make a big change is why you're seeing this opportunity from the grand water trine. The other thing really important on this day is Venus in Sagittarius, which is having much more fun and adventure than she was in dark, intense Scorpio, is having some kind of a fated conversation with both of the nodes. So trine to the north node and sextile to the south node. So there can be some important relationship opportunities that happen today for women of foreign descent. There can be somebody from a foreign country that's a woman that you have a fated conversation or interaction with. And maybe this all ties into, again, this emotional opportunity for you as well. So look for a woman who is maybe somebody who could be a lawyer or a teacher. Something along those lines is Venus in Sagittarius, has some opportunity that she will be taking advantage of on the world stage on this day as well. Okay, well, of course, with the elections, this fits Kamala Harris pretty spot on. So we shall see what's going on with her on Tuesday. Could prove to be very interesting, but it could also be any politician from a foreign country that is a woman. So we shall see. Or we won't, but I think we will. South node in Libra is a relationship from the past that in some way benefits this person or you. So where do you have Venus in Sagittarius? There's something fated going on for you on Tuesday as well. Okay, you want to connect to that? Wear the color red, work with red energy, go on an adventure, take some risks, and you'll call this fated opportunity in quicker. All right, that is Tuesday. Let's look at Wednesday. So on Wednesday, again, the moon just wanted to be highlighted all week long. So it's getting its time. And here, there could be something kind of shocking and surprising, but it would benefit you, right? So the moon with Mars is something very emotional going on. And the two meet up with Uranus in Taurus. So again, Venus, ruler of Taurus, something to do with women and money and finances, Cancer, women. So there's something important with women this week that is going to surprise us. We'll see what that ends up being. Now, again, these are trines, these are sextiles. This is the blue energy, which is really helpful. But Uranus always is a little surprising and shocking, even though it's helpful. It may not feel exactly helpful in the moment. And Mars can be a bit of a misbehaving child in the sign of Cancer. But of course, the moon is strong there. So whatever's going on for you, trust your intuition. And this also is activating this trine that will happen with Neptune and Mars and Uranus over the next few days, while this opposition to Pluto is activated. And this is where we're going to be feeling some definite intensity. Add to that, the sun is now in the sign of Scorpio. It's official Scorpio season. This is why we have Halloween now, and things get dark and spooky. But it's also a good time for retreat, paying attention to our sensitivities, and it's all about transformation. So this is fall, right? This is where the leaves fall, and we let things that no longer serve us fall. So we have that to work on for the next 30 days. Okay? Still activating the square to Pluto, so we're not clear from it. Whatever is being shown to you that needs to change, it's not just walking away, right? It's continuing to prompt you. No matter how much you want to hang on to whatever this is, it's going to be really, really difficult to do so. All right, but with all this lovely supportive energy, tune in, because that means there's people and situations that are coming up to guide you, but you got to tune in and especially pay attention to your feelings, your warning signs, your gut instincts, and take action, because that's the one thing about Mars. It's in this water sign. It's saying pay attention to your feelings. Now, don't overreact, right? But take action. Don't discount them. Don't poo-poo them and talk them down. Whatever you're feeling, especially strong, intensely, you got to respond to it. All right, let us move on to Thursday. And what you'll see here on Thursday is this is nice energy. When the moon is in Leo, it's fun and loving and playful. And when it is speaking to Venus, again, fun, loving, playful energy and opportunity. And both are still speaking in harmony to the North Node in Aries. So a relationship that starts now would be a really fun one, and very passionate and very fated. But always caution. The North Node is our fated path, but it also is lessons that we're here to learn. So you always have to watch that very carefully when you have relationships that are attached to the nodes, because it all depends on your past life karma, how that will transpire for you. But it looks good and positive and fun. And then you're just seeing still the conversation between Uranus and Mars. So again, women, still with Venus too up there, may be surprising us this week in some way. If you are a woman that has been stuck or trapped in a particular situation, you might surprise yourself by breaking free from it, because that's what Uranus likes. Breaking free is the Tower card in tarot, where you're not going to stay stuck or imprisoned any longer. So we shall see how that shows up. The other thing that we see a little bit of a shift is now, if you've been following me, I've been talking about this really long sextile that's happening between Chiron and Aries, healing ourselves, and Jupiter in Gemini, which just went retrograde on October 9th. Together, there is information from the past on either our wounds or our healing of our wounds that is working together and showing up for us for a long time. Well, they were at 21 degrees now. They're both dipping back into 20. So the story continues. The help, the teachers, the mentors are still out there for you. Sextile is very subtle, so you have to tune into it. So there is this opportunity. It will keep showing up until you get the lesson and get the information that you're supposed to get. So maybe as these shift to a different degree, that activates again a little stronger, and you may notice something that goes on this week that you hadn't noticed previously. Then we're going to move to Friday. And on Friday, it's that same energy between Chiron and Jupiter. And now, again, I'm telling you, the moon is a showboat this week. Does not want to be ignored. I guess that full moon in Aries has the moon feeling itself and wants to be involved. So now, again, you've got two fire signs, Chiron and the moon, and then you've got Jupiter kind of in the middle, balancing this out with information, conversations, tutelage, right? A teacher, a mentor of some kind. So Friday looks to be a pretty interesting day. Again, when the moon's in Leo, it does feel fun and lighthearted and childlike. So look for a big opportunity to show up this day that could really help you heal in a big way. And again, it could be something that you're healing from your childhood because Leo does rule children. So that is Friday. And the other thing is about 20 and the number 2. There's balance is so important. And Jupiter makes things bigger. Whatever it touches, it makes bigger. So again, I can't stress it enough. Do not ignore your gut instincts this week. And if you're guided to be somewhere at a certain time to go do something fun on Friday, go do it. You just might be totally amazed at what changes in your life as a result. All right, let's take a look at Saturday. And on Saturday, we have another yod. Man, we've been having a lot of these lately. And a yod is what we call a finger of God, a mission that you are assigned. And those who have planets specifically at this 20-degree mark, again, that number 2, will feel this more than anybody else. But the way out, again, Mercury in Scorpio is secrets being exposed. Information coming up that you either have and you need to share, or somebody has it and needs to share it with you. So the support for this is that Chiron and Jupiter. So again, there's this information, Mercury rules Gemini, that is going to be big, that gets exposed. And then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? And as we're winding down to just a few days left before the election, this could be really interesting. So wherever you have this showing up, where these two in conjunct, which is the green lines from Jupiter and Chiron, are pointing towards Mercury, it's a weird connection. There's weird information. There's weird leaders, right? There's something very strange going on Saturday, and you want to do something with what you learn. And you want to transform it, right? Because Scorpio is about transformation. So it's not something you learn and you ignore. It's something you learn, and as a result, something major changes in your life. Should you have planets at 20 degrees, 22, maybe 18 to 22, I'd keep it pretty tight. You will notice this more than others. And so let me know what your work will be. Okay. That is Saturday. And then we're going to wrap up the week. See, you haven't had to be here all day for this lesson this week. As we end the week, we have that exact trine now between Neptune and Mars. Now, this can be a really, again, kind of fun, emotional, creative type of energy that you want to take advantage of. It can be spirituality because of the Pisces. It can be medicine, healing, and again, have something to do with women or feminine energy in general. So it's there to help you. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. The other energy that's a little challenging as we finish out the week is, Venus is having all this fun in the sign of Sagittarius, and then she has this appointment with Saturn that says, hey, are you doing things that matter? Are you doing things responsibly? Are you having good boundaries? Because that's what Saturn in Pisces is trying to teach us. And keep in mind, Saturn's only going to be retrograde until November 15th, thank God. And then it will slowly start to move forward again. So this is the last check with Venus that Saturn will give before it starts moving forward with its knowledge and lessons that it's learned and gained. All right? So be responsible with all that fun you're having, and you'll pass this test with flying colors. But again, if you're a woman who is highly educated, lives in a foreign country, or from a foreign country, there may be a challenge from an older gentleman that causes some difficulty on this day. All right, then let's briefly just look at next week. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to see this standoff between Pluto and Capricorn, which is old white men politicians, against Mars in Cancer, which is women, home and family. So there's some big challenge that's coming up there in the week. And we also see Mercury opposing Uranus. So this is difficult conversations, shocking, surprising conversations. So there's some tenseness next week, of course, because it's 2024. What more could you possibly expect out of this year? So watch for that opportunity. And then we will get another grand water trine between Mercury, Neptune, and Mars as well. So the nodes, there's all kinds of stuff. So make sure you come back, right? So make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you go out to my website, get the notifications, and come back and work with me. And go watch the tarot cards if you haven't watched those yet. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising to get a better idea personally what you might expect and how to navigate the week. And most of the cards were pretty positive. So there's only a couple where there's challenges. But so that says to me, whatever's going on with all this intensity this week, it's definitely for the greater good. It always is, but there's definitely something you can benefit from for it. And if you want to know more, of course, just book a session with me and let's break it all down. All right, guys, thank you again for tuning in, sharing your time with me, liking, commenting. I love your comments and I love responding to you on any of my platforms. So keep those coming and we'll come back again next week. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Take care. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.